So, I'm gonna do a little bit of work on the hydro. I bought some stuff for it. New oil filter. This is a Napa oil filter. That's the number. Here's the filter for the engine. I got the old one off. I was actually able to take off the hydro cooler and just sneak it out through the hole that they put in the frame for it. It actually surprisingly still had the original factory cover underneath there, which was kind of neat. I don't know how I'm actually going to get this back in, but I got it out, so it's got to go back in. There's the hole. Got your standard oil spill all over the frame when you change the filter. So this thing takes 4.5 quarts of type F automatic transmission fluid. I found that in the manual, as well as SAE 30 oil. It takes 2 quarts of that. So I'm gonna get this filter put in. I want to change the transmission fluid right away, but it's leaking somewhere, and I need to drive it around a little bit to figure out exactly where it's leaking from. And there's these 2 fittings. This one and this one. This little lock nut right here is kind of loose. I'm hoping that's where it's leaking from. So I kind of wiped all this oil stuff off that was gooped on there. All that was stuck on there. Trying to figure out exactly where it's coming from so I can fix it. So I'm gonna get this oil changed, then be right back. So I went ahead and got the oil filter in. Now I'm gonna put the transmission cover, or the cover on here. I found a bunch of wood stuff to set the camera down on, so you can watch me work. I'm sure somebody out there is probably laughing at me right now really hard, doing this the improper way when there's a much easier way to do it. But this is all I can figure out what to do, so. That's on. Now to dump in some oil. So when pretty much all your shop is not with you, this is what you have to do to make a funnel. Things can get interesting here really fast, and this does not fit in that very good. Oh well. So I'm going to take this thing for a little hot lap here. I'll then come back and see where that transmission is leaking at. So if you didn't see before, here's my camera tripod. It's a bunch of wooden boxes piled on each other. So far we're doing pretty good here. We're hoping after this I can figure out what is actually wrong with this tranny, where it's leaking from. I can get that drained out, changed, then move on to the funner stuff like getting the paint to look better. So I'm gonna take it for a spin. So I went for that little cruise. I got a couple bit more things done. Got the tires reversed to the correct side. Got the grill corner bolted on. The bolt there bolted on. A couple other little odds and ends. Got the oil draining. I tried using this here Allen wrench on the bolt back there, but all I did was strip it out, so oh, that kind of sucks. So what I did is I took off this line right here and I'm draining it into this bucket. It's automatic transmission fluid type F, which is why it's red. And it's leaking from here, right there, and right there. You see all that pink stuff right there. So I'm actually gonna get this fixed. I'm gonna move on. Well, I'm gonna keep going and then the video will keep going, but next clip here, I'm gonna move on to funner stuff like the paint and everything, so next time you see this, it'll be better. So I got some O-rings to fix the leak because I looked in the manual and I got the part off. So that O-ring right there is what's leaking. So just as a backup, I think I'm gonna get some Teflon tape and put on the threads also. I can show in the picture what I am doing here. So here in the manual it's number 30 and it's number 30 right there, which is an O-ring, 90-degree elbow with O-ring that I am doing. It's on that one. Basically all of the 90-degree elbows that's on that has that problem. So I'm gonna get these replaced. I already changed, I put some fluid in it. Then just enough so I backed it up and I realized it was leaking. Then I did this so I didn't put all the fluid in and have to drain it all back out. Here's the hose that I had to take off. They're made out of metal, so that's pretty good. So I'm gonna get these changed out, then I'll be right back. So we got the oil leak fixed. I just took that up front and got her washed up. You see by that, I got a nice oil stain on my brand new concrete floor. Good way to break it in hard. Over here on the tractor, there's a tractor. Hood sitting on it. I'm about ready to put some clear coat on this to keep it from paint peeling off and just make it look nice again. I used some steel wool and got this cleaned up real nice. This thing looks nice. Hydro's all fixed. So, no more leaks under there. It's all dry. Those O-rings did the job. So, I'm going to take this hood off. So, I got the hood off. So, the only other thing I really need that I'm going to have to buy is a new belt. Yesterday when I was at the store, I could have picked one up, but I didn't ever take the belt off to figure out what size it is. And back here it's looking like I'm gonna have to possibly take these two bolts out to get to it. Surprising, it actually still has the clutch cover right here. Those are always missing. The cover right here is missing also. Knew that before. I'm kind of surprised that it has this cover though, the pulley cover. So I'm gonna just wipe this thing down. I'm gonna get this thing painted or clear coated, then be right back. So I got it all clear coated. I used the matte clear. I think it would look kind of funny if I used gloss. I've used it before and it looked kind of funny until of course it fades. I did that on my 16T and the frame looked kind of funny at first, but then it faded back to normal. So you're looking at about exactly what I'm looking at. It looks the same. See some spots, it's still wet. Seems to dry actually pretty fast. Can kind of notice that it has the clear coat on it, but for the most part you can't, so that's what I'm happy with. It made the dash look a lot shinier than it was. It'll prevent it from rusting anymore because I like the look of this. It looks like an original Survivor, which that's pretty much what it is.